Guys, I give up. I absolutely give up. I am so fed up with this nonsense that persecutes us every single time you need to hire the bar. This is unacceptable. I'm sorry, but this is unacceptable. 0 points out of Milan, Napoli, Inter, Juve, and now Atalanta, frankly speaking, is embarrassing because even clubs like Lecce can go to Turin and grab a point somehow or another way. Whether it's parking the bus or playing offensive football, somehow they manage to grind. And I am so fed up of hyping myself up before every big game, expecting that today will be the day that something changes, and punctually nothing changes for the Christ of fucking shit. I'm so fed up. I am so fed up. Every time, it's been like this for the past 10 years. Every time you try and aim for something bigger and therefore need to face better teams, you punctually perform in the most aberrant way possible. And I'm sorry, but I do not understand. I don't understand so many things. There are so many things I want to speak up today. The players, some of the players. I want to speak about, again, because every time you lose a big game, and every time you lose a game like this, it dates back to the original problem, which is that this manager was not backed, and how the fuck this board thought it was going to be possible for this manager to compete with this team remains one of the biggest mysteries that we will tell our children, honestly. Like, how on earth the board sat down this summer and went, you know what? You can achieve Champions League football with the team that we gave you. In my opinion, is like, you deserve to go to jail for that. You deserve to go to jail. It's more serious than stealing. It's more serious than stealing. It definitely is more serious than stealing. How the fuck this manager, Ranieri, the owners, the sporting director sat down at the table and agreed that with this team the objective should have been Champions League football. I don't understand. And maybe it's just me, but look, where do we start? I mean, people were complaining about the referee yesterday. Look, that Zvilor makes a mistake, for me, is very clear. Like, whether that's a foul or not, Zvilor makes a mistake because he clearly misses the ball and the ball clearly drifts past his arms. So the fact that Zvilor made a mistake is pretty clear to me. I do see a handball somewhere or another. Maybe it's my eyes, but the more I see those images, the more I see Scalvini pushing it in with his arm. Now, again, whether the arm is close to his chest, I don't care, because every referee has told us that if the ball touches your arm, it's a penalty or it's a disallowed goal. So, again, like, I'm not complaining about that because you can't. I mean, I'm so fed up of people that after these games complain about the referees. Like, grow up. We're absolutely shit. We cannot win or draw a big game, even if our life depended on it. So, protesting of referees, and also the second goal that they got disallowed, I don't even know if that was offside. So, frankly speaking, put the referees aside, because it is not about the referees. There is a problem at this football club. Which is trying to get out of this mediocrity bar that has been strangling us for the past 10 years. I'm sorry, but we have been mediocre for the past 10 years. We have. There have been ups and downs. There have been incredible ups, like the Champions League semi-final, the Europa League final, there have been the ups, but there also have been the downs. But generally speaking, the pattern says mediocrity, because it's 7 years that we're not competing for top 4, and it's another year this year that if you don't reinforce the team, you won't make Champions League football. Because I'm gonna now drift back to what I said at the beginning. How you possibly think that this team can get Champions League football, you're out of this world. And I said this on deadline day. Don't act as if I didn't. I'm trying saying this now. I never justified the fact that we were first in the table. I always said that we don't belong there. Don't look at us there because we will drop. On deadline day of 2025, I said that this team is not good enough and that this manager wasn't backed, and I was right. Because how you possibly can think that this team can challenge for Champions League football, placed next to Milan, Napoli, Juve, who am I missing? Inter, even Atalanta has a better team than you, in my opinion, is disgusting. Is disgusting. And again, I cannot hide the fact that this manager has made mistakes, but this manager is the only person that knows what to do at this football club. And I'm convinced about this. Out of all the players, out of everyone here, there are two human beings that represent AS Roma that know what the fuck to do. And that's Claudio Ranieri and Gianpiero Gasperini. The rest can fuck off. Because the rest don't know what it takes to actually hire officially the bar. Massara to me looks like an utter idiot. The board, the fact, I don't know what's more serious, whether the fact that we haven't won a big game this season or whether it's the 4th of January and we still have no new signings added to our team. I don't know what's more serious. As a matter of fact, I don't know what it is. It's the 4th of January. Look at us now wait 20 days for Raspadori to say yes and treat him as if he were Cole Palmer. I'm not joking. Look at us. I'm going to predict this. We're going to waste 20 days trying to unlock that Raspadori deal. All for him to go, no, I don't want to join you. And then us with our hands like this. You know that Michelangelo painting going, God help me, whether it's Michelangelo, I couldn't give a shit. You know that painting where you've got all those people reaching up for God? This is exactly the situation that we're going to be in 20 days. Wasting 20 days on Raspadori, to then, all of a sudden, him saying, no, I want to settle it in Madrid, and then realising that you only have 5 days left in the transfer window. That's going to happen. It's scripted. It's been like this for 10 years. Now, the fact that we still haven't moved on from Raspadori, despite him being skeptical about this move, is embarrassing. We're treating Raspadori as if he was fucking prime Cristiano Ronaldo. Somebody who wants to play his cards at Atletico Madrid, but doesn't know that he wants to compete with Julian Alvarez, Griezmann, Sorloth. Like, if he wants to stay. I can live without Raspadori for fucking hell, I'm so pissed off. I'm so fucking pissed off today. No, but look, going back to the game, I mean, for me, the analysis is very simple. For me, football is very simple. If you don't shoot, you don't score. Like, football is very, very, very simple. If you don't shoot, the ball will never go the back of the net. And the objective in football is scoring. So if you don't shoot, if you spend 90 minutes not shooting, not creating chances, I'm sorry, but how do you score, and therefore how do you win football games? And therefore, how do you get points? And therefore, how do you get Champions League football? Connect the dots. It's simpler than what people think. If you don't shoot, you don't score. So, again, yesterday, apart from those 2 stupid chances that Dybala had and Ferguson had in the first 5 minutes, I cannot remember one shot on target from our team. On target, not on target, in general, a shot. Sometimes I crave in a football game to see somebody shoot the ball. Even if that ball goes out of the stadium, just shoot the fucking ball. No, all we do is cross. Pass the ball around, and we never score. Like, we've got 1 goal scored in 5 big games this season, and that was a tap-in goal at the Allianz Stadium against Juventus. I don't think people realise how desperate our offensive situation is. I don't think people realise that this is the worst attack that this team has had in 20 years. I don't think people realise. Like, honestly, I'm speaking really here. I don't think people realise that this board gave Gasperini, who is an offensive manager, the worst attack that this team had in 20 years. Because Ferguson and Dovbyk can't score even if you shoot at them. Even if all of a sudden you legalize the fact that you can get the ball with their hand and push it in, they wouldn't be able to score. You've got Dybala, who's a dead player, and I'm going to get onto Dybala in a second. And if I see somebody say extend Dybala's contract, fuck off. Fuck off, because I'll lose it. I'll lose it. I posted an Instagram story today on Instagram with like 4 players on the Instagram story with an X on, players that need to leave, and a green tick on Sule, who's the only player who needs to stay. The amount of comments of idiots that I received going, Dybala deserves a fucking green tick. Shut the fuck up and grow up. That guy needs to go. I love him like my teddy bear that my mother gave me when I was born, but he needs to fucking go because he cannot sprint for his life anymore. He can't. He's useless. He doesn't even shoot anymore. And we pay him 11 million euros for fuck's sake. Like, Jesus Christ, this is why we're so mediocre. Because people are so obsessed with players that no longer make the difference. Sule ghosts big games. Pellegrini's always injured. Like, what the fuck are we supposed to do with our attack? Honestly, like, doesn't this sound some alarms in the head of the board going, we need players up front? Because none of these players are good players. I mean, yes, they are, but none of these players actually turn up when it matters. And that, in my opinion, is the most important thing. Like, these players never turn up when it matters. And that's why we never perform in big games. Because Sule ghosts. Dybala's a dead player. Ferguson and Dovbyk can't even score with their hands. Baldanzi, let's not even speak about. Pellegrini's always on the fucking in the hospital. Like, our attack is so bad. It's so bad. The people don't realize that it's the worst attack that we've had in years. And like, the one thing that this manager needed this summer was offensive players, because he's an offensive manager. He needs goals. Like, I feel bad for him because he's so desperate. He is so desperate for players that I don't know how we're just 1 point behind top 4. Like, frankly speaking, I don't know how, because out of the last 5 games, it feels to me we lost 4. The situation is more desperate than what people make it to think. And it sounds less desperate because we were first a few weeks ago, because we're about 1 point behind Juventus, which is ahead of you. Look, in about a month, if you don't add reinforcements to this team, Juventus will be 6 points minimum ahead of you. And they deserved to win yesterday. That's because they have Jonathan David, who's another shit player. But any other time, Juventus would have gotten 3 points. So, you see what I mean? I mean, they've got better teams than you. And thinking that you can compete with the players that you have against those teams is, like, I'm sorry, but it's unrealistic. It was ever going to be unrealistic. And the fact that we realized but the board didn't just shows you how incompetent the board is. Because, what makes me mad is the fact that statistically, league table wise, we're having a good season. And what frustrates me is that with and perform. And when the league table editions of the Serie like this one, which are so tight, like with a few more signings, you can actually compete. But what pisses me off is the fact that I highly doubt you're going to get Champions League football again this year unless Italy don't qualify 5 teams. Because you're not getting top 4. You're not getting top 4. The only way you get top 4 is if you get, like, 4 players in January. But to get 4 players in January meant that in the first 4 days of January, you also had to, we have a new game on Wednesday. We have another game in 2 days in Lecce. Complicated stadium, complicated game. And we need to play that game without Mancini, without Hermoso, and without Ndika. Like, the squad depth is good, but again, these are all things that we said. These aren't things that pop up like mushrooms all of a sudden. No, These are things that you could have told this summer. You knew the signings that you had to get done this summer, and you decided not to. And this is what you get. This is exactly what you get. I think, again, going to individual performances, Svilor, you can't blame him. I mean, if it wasn't for Svilor this season, we'd sit around 16th position. So for all the amount of times that he saved us, he makes a mistake yesterday, and it's a very evident mistake. But you know, he's the last person that deserves any criticism to this team. But he does make a mistake. Defense yesterday was all over the place. Ziolkowski made Scamacca look like prime Zlatan. Wrench made Zappacosta look like prime, I don't know, prime Carvajal. I don't know, like, and Kone. Let's speak about Kone as well, because I love Kone. Kone is a good player, but Kone is not a fantastic player. Because whenever the game matters, he's another one who always ghosts. Always. And ghosting for a midfielder like him doesn't mean scoring goals. He doesn't score a goal, he ghosts. No, because that's not his role. But ghosting means making your presence heard, using your physique properly. In big games, he gets bullied still. So it's a step that he's missing. He's a young player. He will have a great career. Out of all, he's another one of those that you could criticize the least for the amount of times that he saved us and played great. But what I'm searching in this team is who does it when the bar raises. Who does it? Who picks this team up on its shoulders when we face against better organized teams, better technically gifted teams? Who does it? There is nobody in this team, apart from our goalkeeper, that at time of speaking can do it when it matters. We are weak against the strong and strong against the weak. That's the definition of Roma. We're great against the weak. You can have your off day. Everyone has their off days. But generally speaking, everyone plays well. Everyone plays well against the weak. Whenever you face the strong, you're the weak. Because no player in this team, apart from a very few, has the balls to perform in big games. Nobody does it. And, characteristics-wise, nobody dribbles. Nobody produces a one-on-one. Nobody has tempo. Nobody has tempo. How do you win? How do you win? How do you win games against better teams when in the other team everyone runs like hell, dribbles the ball, tempo, pace and everything, and all you do in those games is you never take your chances, but you always pass the ball around, searching to walk into the goal with the ball beneath your feet. Somebody who never shoots, somebody who never dribbles, somebody who never sets a transition. Nobody does it. Nobody does it. And this is what football is. This is what football has become. Football has become a fast and physical game. It has. And we are the only team, it feels like we're the only team, we're the only fans who haven't realised this, who still, the 4th of January 2026, ask for a contract extension for Paulo Dybala. Because all they get on their TikTok For You page is Dybala edits with Prime Juventus against Barcelona. Oh, Dybala, we've got Dybala, that's Dybala, you need to extend it. Like, you need to understand the players become washed. And Dybala is washed. And then I get on Instagram, after a great game against Genoa, I get, Simo, you see, this is why Dybala needs to extend his contract. Fine, extend him. This is where we'll be. And where we'll forever be if these are the standards. Again, let me open the parenthesis, because this is not hating on Paulo Dybala. This is realizing that his time is gone. And if it were me, I would let him go in January, if it were me. But out of respect for him, his wife, they're having a child, of course, family first, family paramount, health and safety and everything first, let him stay. But if I see Dybala in the team next year, then you're not serious. You're not serious. You're not serious. And I am fed up of not being serious. Because this fact of not being serious and analysing football games as if we're all 16 years old, obsessed with football players just because we get incredible, well-edited videos of them in their prime on our TikTok For You page, is embarrassing. And you need to grow up. And you need to grow up in analysing games, in reacting to games, and in reacting and producing judgments to the players that are in your team. Because another thing that I will say about Dybala is that if this was Pellegrini playing like this, earning 11 million, you would want him executed. And I'm not justifying, because Pellegrini is always injured as well. Both of them belong to the hospital. But the truth is that because his name is Dybala, nobody ever says anything to him. In the sheer realm of things, he earns 12 million euros to do nothing. Walk around because he doesn't run. No longer make the difference. Yes, he's got incredible feet, incredible technique, so he still once in a while produces the wow pass. But that's what we want, that wow pass, a wow trivela pass, which covers the entire pitch from one side, gets the wrench on the other side, 12 million contract. Standards are low. I'm sorry, but standards are low. A lot of players need to go this summer. A lot of players had to leave earlier. And this is not me justifying Pellegrini. Pellegrini is another one who needs to go, in my opinion. I've been saying this since last season. But there needs to be... I look at Napoli. Napoli is my example. Napoli is my example for various reasons. Napoli is my example because, number one, they lived, apart, before Spalletti came with that Scudetto, they lived very similar realities to us, okay? Very passionate fan base, very passionate city, but a city that barely ever wins. So I look at what Napoli did and want to see that at my football club. Even though I hate them, I despise them, okay? They're the worst. After Lazio, it's Napoli. I hate them, absolutely. But in terms of comparing realities, you need to look at what Napoli did. Napoli were a very similar team to you in terms of passion, in terms of what they won, in terms of the players they had, because they kept on going with certain players and never won shit. Spalletti comes in, sells Insigne, sells Mertens, sells Callejon, sells and refunds the entire squad, builds, and now manager gets backed because Conte was backed and Spalletti was backed, and these are the results. These are the results. And he's going to get thrown out of the Champions League and he's going to win the league again this year. But, you know, you need to have the courage, like Napoli did, to end it with certain players who no longer offer shit. And the reason I say this after this game, the reason I'm so pissed after this game, it's because it's been like this for too long. It's been like this for too long. For too long. And every year that goes by, every season that goes by, we hype ourselves up because we're very passionate. Because we're very passionate and we want to see our football club succeed, because that's the best thing that can happen to us. That's the biggest joy that our eyes can see. But in order to do it and to see it, you need to be brave. Not be brave. Yes, be brave. To make drastic decisions. So what needs to happen in future summer sessions is that you need to trust this manager. Because this manager is the only person who knows what to do at this football club. Because I will say it again, what this manager has done in the first 5 months is a miracle. You try yourself to manage a football club with handicapped strikers, with injury-prone players who get injured after every 3 games. You try, and he's doing his best. He's doing his best with a limited squad, with a shit squad depth, with old players, and with handicapped strikers. You try. So it's very easy to criticize the manager again. And I can't hide the fact that in the past he's made mistakes. He has. But I see those mistakes as mistakes that were forced on him because he has no other option. So the fact, as I said before, the fact that it's been 4 days since the January transfer session begun and still no reinforcements is worrying. Because now we have a game on Wednesday. Not even on Wednesday, on Tuesday. After tomorrow we have a game. Then we'll play again next weekend. Then we've got the Coppa Italia next Tuesday. Then we play again. Then the Europa League kick starts again. What is this man supposed to do? This team is not good enough. No, sorry, let me rephrase. This team is good. But if you want to higher the bar, if you want to have better expectations and better realities, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Because this team is the 5th/6th best team in the league. It's the 5th best team in the league because Atalanta have been gobshit this season. But in any other season, Atalanta would be minimum same points as you, if not better. Because they have a better team than you. Let's read a few comments. We had 6 losses last season. Now we already have 7. What do we want? We had Angelino, we had Dovbyk, Shomurodov and Pizzilli. What are they? What is happening? Dybala and Ferguson played good yesterday other than Dybala's miss. No, they didn't, mate. No, they didn't. That's how low our standards have fallen. That's how low our standards have fallen. They didn't play a good game. They didn't play a good game. Nobody played a good game. And the fact that we have the decency to say that Ferguson and Dybala played a good game. No, they didn't. And that's because our standards are low. They both played a shit game. Both of them. I agree, Ferguson was the only one with a bit of life in yesterday's game, even though he missed around 18 chances. You know, I agree. Ferguson is the one who showed a bit of life. I saw a turnaround and a shot. He could have done better in a few, but he's the one that showed a bit of light. Okay, let's call it life. A bit of I'm alive. But like to say that they played a good game to me is our standards are low, and this is another reason why we're not moving forward. Because we think that Dybala and Ferguson played a good game. They played a good game. Yeah, they played a good game. So whenever they actually play a good game, we're like, oh, they played phenomenal. Oh, they're amazing. When in reality, the good game is there a good game for what should be a good game for them is a phenomenal game to us. Non c'è bisogno di guardare queste partite. Sono d'accordo, purtroppo sono d'accordo. We have a serious problem when we go down first. That's another thing. That's a stat that shows that your attack is not good enough. Because the fact that whenever you go down, you never score and never kind of turn around games is a reflection of a statement saying that whenever you win, you only win 1-0. Look at it like that. The fact that whenever we concede a goal, are never able to score and thus get back into the game is a reflection to the fact that whenever we actually win a game, we always win 1-0, max 2-0. And that is proof that our offensive threats are null. And if you don't add, we won't go anywhere. We won't go anywhere. Anywhere. No coach can change our DNA. We just freaking suck for real. We ain't top 4 material. Every time we get a chance to up the table, we freaking bottle it. I think our manager wants to change the DNA of this team. I've said it whenever we appointed him. This manager, I'm going to say it again because I'm convinced about this statement and I do want to end on a bit of a positive light. This manager will be the manager of your next Scudetto if you back him. I'm convinced about this statement and I have been throwing this statement at you ever since we appointed him. If you know how to back this manager, he will bring you that Scudetto. And I'm convinced about this statement. But you need to back him. Because thinking that you backed him with Ferguson, who came from an ACL, who came between two loans between West Ham and Brighton and ended last season with 1 goal. Bringing in Bailey, who was more injured than alive last season. Bringing in Tsimikas, who every time I look at him, I get the feeling he parties until 4 a.m. every night. Like, these are not backings. That's just pretending that you want to back him. So getting players to throw at him to say that you backed him, but you didn't back him. Because I'll say it until the day I die, this manager is not stupid. This manager knows what to do. But you need to know how to cope with him and back him, because otherwise it won't last. Boyd is incompetent, but Ranieri showed that UCL is possible with the current squad. 2 things that can be true at the same time. I'm sick and tired of this type of game. Ferguson and Dybala are pure garbage. Don't want to see them anymore. I can play Ferguson his ticket back by now. Just get him gone. Where are you from? Italy. Sono italiano, non so, non si sente, ma sono italiano a tutti gli effetti, me lo chiedono tutti. The only way we can get in Champions League is if we get a couple of real players in attack, and if Italy gets the additional spot through the... I agree. Otherwise it's a mission impossible that everybody, at least if you're rational, you knew ever since the transfer window ended this summer. You knew it. Ever since, if you use your brain when analysing football, you know and agree with that statement, the 1st of September 2025. Then you get hyped up because we were close to the 1st. Of course, I understand it. But then when the reality kicks in again, you know that you knew about this ever since the beginning, and it was never a surprise to you. That's just who we are. What do you think to Chelsea sacking Maresca? Mate, honestly, with all due respect, I could not give a shit. I've got too much shit going on in my football club that I could not give a shit about Chelsea at the moment. I apologise. Maybe in another stream we'll talk about it, but not now. And preview tomorrow. We've got another game travelling all the way south to Lecce on Tuesday. Like, plenty of games. This January is brutal. January has always been brutal. You need signings. January is brutal. January has always been, ever since football was created, the most brutal month of the year. I'd argue our attack was worse last year. No, I disagree. And I'll tell you why I disagree. Our attack was way better last year because Dybala still was a bit alive. Because you had Salamakers who pushed so much, guys, that you don't realise. And you had Shomurodov, who is way better than both Dovbyk and Ferguson combined. So I completely disagree with the statement that last year our attack was better. Our attack this year is better. It's not. Last year was way better. Because Dybala was still a football player. Shomurodov, we criticised him, and I criticised him a lot, but if only we could have Shomurodov in this team right now, and Salamakers changed the balance. The saddest shit was the player of the match voting bar showed up, and there was Wesley in that shit when he came 20 minutes maybe before. Ranieri was handed a 10th place teammate. Since the Fredkin took over, we've always been 6th place material, 6 years, and we're still at the same level, no growth. Why didn't Wesley start? He wasn't fit, I think. Yeah, and I think Wesley not starting, guys, is not Gasperini's issue. He said it in the press conference. He wasn't fit. Ferguson got bricks his feet. Serie is an exciting league to watch this year. The league is stacked. Roma is playing good defense overall, but lacking attacking quality. Most salary. No, you see. That's again. That's the trap. That is the trap where we've always fallen. Because his name is Salah, let's give him a 20 million salary and bring him back to Rome. And I redirect you back at the Napoli reality that I was speaking about. That's not what Napoli did. Napoli had the courage to sign young, fresh, fast players. So even those Salah rumours, apart from the fact that they're utter bollocks, those are not the profiles we need. You need young. You need fresh. You need non-injury prone. You need hungry players. That needs to be the fucking first step. I'm fed up of these end of career players. We've signed too many in the past and they've brought us nowhere. Nowhere. Guys, I'll catch you tomorrow with the Lecce match preview. I'm sorry if I didn't read all the comments, but I need to go and take a shower. I've boiled in the past 40 minutes. What a great way to start 2026. God gracious, what a great way. I'll catch you tomorrow for the match preview for the Lecce game. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments down below your thoughts. If we can get 100 likes on this video, it would be great. Please do hit the like button. It supports the channel and the single video a lot. It pushes the video out. So interact as much as possible. And I'll speak to you soon. Simo out. Fuck off.